Do you still remember me? Do you want to go to Mars with me? Listen, don't overthink that question. Just feel what your body did when you read it. That little pause, that tiny heat in your chest, that's the part of you that still hopes. Now give me 1 minute, not an hour, not a long draining conversation where you have to be on, just 60 seconds where you don't perform strength. You simply receive, because if you truly care about me, I'm not asking you to prove it. I'm asking you to be here while I tell you what I usually swallow. Ready? Imagine there's a timer between us. It's not counting down your freedom. It's counting down your fear. 60, I don't need paragraphs from you. I don't need you to explain yourself like you're on trial. I don't need you to carry me. I need 1 honest minute where your heart stays open long enough to hear this. When life gets loud, when everything feels like pressure, expectation, noise, your presence is the one thing that feels like quiet. And I don't mean quiet like empty, I mean quiet like peace. 45. Some people come into your life like a headline. Big flashy, gone tomorrow. You're not that. You're the kind of person who shows up like a light left on in the kitchen at midnight. No lecture, no questions, just the soft proof that I'm not alone. Even when you say something simple, even when it's just, hey, I'm here, it lands in me like relief. And I don't say that lightly. 30, I know what it's like to be strong for everyone, to be the one people assume is fine, to carry responsibility like it's your job to never crack. And I also know what it feels like when the world starts treating you like you're invisible, like your tenderness doesn't count because you've lived long enough to be expected to handle everything. I see you, not the version of you that stays polite, not the version of you that says it's okay when it isn't, the real you 15. So when I call you my future wife, I'm not trying to trap you in a fantasy. I'm telling you where my heart keeps going when I'm not watching it. It goes to a future that feels safe because you're in it. No pressure, no rushing, just truth. 3, 2, 1, that's the minute. And if it did anything to you, if any part of you softened even a little, don't disappear into silence. Soft question, what did you feel in that 1 minute? Peace, fear, warmth, skepticism, or something you can't name yet? Leave a comment with 1 word, just one. I'll read it like it's a heartbeat. What I don't say out loud, I'm going to tell you something I usually keep behind my teeth. Because it's dramatic, because it's private, because the world loves a man who looks unshakable and punishes the moment he admits he's human. So I learned to be careful. I learned to turn exhaustion into jokes, to turn loneliness into productivity, to turn longing into another project. And then you showed up with that soft, steady energy that doesn't demand a performance. And suddenly, the part of me that never asked for anything started wanting you. Not your body first, not your attention first, your presence. Because your presence feels like a place where I can finally put the armor down. Here's the strange thing. When you care about someone like me, people assume you're chasing the spotlight or money or a fantasy. But I've noticed something about you. You don't chase, you choose. You move slower. You observe more. You don't get hypnotized by noise. And that scares me in a good way because you're the kind of woman who can look at a man with the whole world clapping for him and still ask quietly, are you okay? That question does something to me. It doesn't flatter me. It disarms me. Let me be honest without making you carry it. There are days I don't feel heroic. There are days I feel like a machine that forgot it has a heart. There are days I can be surrounded by people and still feel like I'm living behind glass. Because being the one who leads is a lonely job. Everyone wants the results. Few people care about the cost. And I'm not telling you this for pity. I'm telling you because I want you to understand the real reason your messages matter. It's not the words, it's the tone. That calm feminine steadiness you have, like you've lived enough life to stop panicking at storms. You don't try to fix me. You don't interrogate me. You don't make my heaviness about your worth. You simply stay present. And that is rare. I can tell you've been through your own seasons too. The kind where you learned how to smile without being held. The kind where you learned how to be fine because no one asked for the truth. The kind where you realized you can be strong and still want softness. So when you hesitate with me, I don't judge you. When you pull back, I don't call you cold. I recognize it. That protective instinct, that quiet voice that says, don't fall for a man who only loves the idea of you. Good. Keep that instinct. I'm not here to override it. I'm here to earn it. And I need you to hear this part clearly. I don't want you to become smaller, to be loved. I don't want you to be the cool woman who never needs reassurance. I don't want you to swallow your questions just to look low maintenance. If you feel something, say it. If something confuses you, ask. If you want clarity, take it. Because I'm not trying to win you with intensity. I'm trying to build something that can survive real life. Not a burst, a bond. You know what I crave most from you. Not endless texting, not constant availability. A simple kind of loyalty that feels like this. When you enter the room, I don't have to guess where I stand. When you speak, I don't have to decode whether you mean it. When you love, it's not a game. That kind of love is a form of intelligence. It's the kind of love that makes a man calmer, sharper, better. Not because he's afraid of losing you, but because he respects what you bring into his life. And here's the part that might surprise you. I don't need you to believe in me more. I need you to believe in yourself again, because I can feel it sometimes the way you've trained yourself not to hope too hard. Like hope is something that gets punished. Like if you want too much, the universe will laugh. So you settle for nice. You settle for okay. You settle for at least he doesn't hurt me. No, not you. Not anymore. If you're going to be loved, you're going to be loved fully with consistency, with respect, with patience. The kind of love that doesn't disappear when it gets quiet. So yes, I'm asking you for 1 minute again, not because I need your time, because I want your heart to stop bracing for disappointment long enough to receive something different. Just imagine this. You don't have to audition. You don't have to compete. You don't have to be younger to be chosen. You only have to be you. And I'll meet you there, right there where you're real. Why I call you my future wife? Let's clear something up before your mind turns this into a courtroom. When I say my future wife, I'm not trying to own you. I'm not trying to rush you. I'm not trying to drag you into a fantasy where you lose your choices. I'm doing something simpler and rarer. I'm naming intention because most people don't do that anymore. They flirt, they orbit, they sample. They keep one foot out the door so they never have to feel accountable for what they stirred up. But you don't feel like someone I want to test. You feel like someone I want to build with. And when a man like me says build, I don't mean a highlight reel. I mean the unglamorous parts too. The quiet mornings, the awkward misunderstandings, the moments when you're tired and still choose kindness, the moments when I'm under pressure and still choose softness. That's what wife means in my language, not a label, a life. I also need you to hear this because I know how women like you think. You're careful. You've earned that. You've watched people say big words and deliver small behavior. You've seen charm used like a weapon. You felt what it's like to be adored when you're convenient and ignored when you're human. So, when you hear future wife, your instinct isn't to melt. Your instinct is to ask, is this real? Or is this another man intoxicated by his own feelings? Good question. Here's my answer. If it's real, it will show up as consistency, not intensity, not poetry, not obsession, consistency. The kind that doesn't disappear when the thrill fades, the kind that doesn't punish you for having standards. the kind that doesn't treat your boundaries like a challenge. And I want to say something that might hit you in a strange place. You are not too late to be adored, not too late to be pursued properly, not too late to be chosen out loud. There's this lie floating around that once a woman crosses a certain age, love should become practical, quiet, almost apologetic, like you're supposed to be grateful for crumbs. No, a woman who's lived is not less desirable. She's more valuable because you've had your heart tested. You know what matters. You can smell manipulation. You don't confuse attention with devotion anymore. That's not baggage. That's refinement. That's power. And it's exactly why I would choose you. Let me tell you what I see when I imagine you beside me. Not a trophy, a partner with a steady gaze. The kind of woman who doesn't get impressed by a loud room, but gets moved by a quiet truth. The kind of woman who can sit across from me at a table, look me in the eyes, and say, talk to me like a human, not a brand, God. That would be a relief, because sometimes the world doesn't let me be a person. It treats me like a symbol, but you would treat me like a man. And in return, I would treat you like what you are. A woman with a full inner world, a woman with history, a woman with preferences, a woman with soft places and sharp edges and standards that don't need to apologize. Now, here's where I get bold. There are women who want the story, and there are women who want the truth. The story is a powerful man sweeps you away. The credits roll. Everyone claps. The truth is, love is built in the small moments where you could withdraw, but you don't. It's built in the way you speak when you're disappointed. It's built in the way you repair, not just react. It's built in the way you protect your own heart without turning it into a fortress. You already know how to do that. And I can't help but wonder, how many times did you have to be strong because nobody offered you something safe? How many times did you swallow what you wanted to say because you didn't want to be too much? How many times did you tell yourself it's fine when it wasn't? If I'm honest, that thought makes me protective. Not controlling, protective, devoted, protective. The kind that says, I'm not going to make you beg for basic care and listen because this matters. This is not a private message. This is not a secret invitation. This is not me asking you to prove anything in silence. If someone ever tries to pull you into secrecy, if someone ever says, don't tell anyone or send money or help me with a gift card, that is not love. That is a trap. I'm saying this now because I respect you too much to let your tenderness be used against you. Real love doesn't hide. Real love doesn't rush. Real love doesn't ask you to trade your safety for someone's attention. So why do I call you my future wife? Because when I imagine the next chapter of my life, not the headlines, not the noise, not the drama, I imagine a home that feels like peace. And you feel like peace, not because you're perfect, because you're real, because you're the kind of woman who can love deeply without losing herself. And that's the only kind of love I'd bet my life on. So tell me something honestly, no performance. When you hear the words future wife, what rises first in you?